podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Robinson, and today we have someone special. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Man, another Jeremy, man. My name's Jeremy Butler, former Baltimore Raven, man. I'm excited to be on here, bro. Thank you for reaching out.
Yes, indeed. So with that, man, how are you doing mentally, physically, and emotionally?
That's a great question, man. That's a real good question. All three levels, man, I'm good. I'm great, honestly, man. And I gotta credit it to two things. Relationship with God, one.
Yeah.
And two, man, my therapist. Like I tell him, bro, never again will I ever not miss a call. Will I miss a call? He going to my wedding. I want him at my funeral. Everything. That's my guy. So God and therapy, man, like that's really helped me really get my mind right, my spirit, my energy. I'm good, bro. Thank you for asking.
That's a blessing, man. I definitely will tell you. Without God and like you said, therapy, I tapped into it in 2020, man, and it actually changed my life as well. And I was like, well, I ain't been did this, man. Having a conversation, like, you should try it, man, and try it when you're ready. But, another thing I say that I like how we started it, try Jesus, man. Like, try it and buy into it if you can. That's for you. But I feel like it's for everybody, especially in the times we live in, man. You need something.
Yeah, man. I was running from it, bro. I was running from that relationship with God, and I tried everything else. And I finally said, you know what? I'm gonna try it. If it worked, I'll do it. If it don't work, I'm gone.
Yes,
All
indeed.
right, bro, I just started reading the Bible and applying it, and before you know it, everything gets saved verbatim, man. Like it works, bro. So that's what helped me in therapy, bro. Like I know in our community is I used to be so terrified. I'm like, man, only crazy people go to therapy, bro.
Right. Right. Like, what is wrong with me? What am I? Do I supposed to do this?
That's funny, man.
Yeah, it took one of my frat brothers to be like, "Hey, man, I tried it. I'm like, "What? Okay, bet, let's do it." All right, cool.
The rest is history.
Yes, indeed. So with I say this, man. How was it growing up in Bradenton, Florida, the real South, man? How was that?
Okay, man, growing up in Bradenton, man, honestly, like any other inner city, environment, any other, low poverty environment, we had a nice beach town, like as far as Siesta Key and stuff and whatnot, but that ain't our side of town. Like, so like any other low income area, man, just bunch of kids outside figuring it out together, make a way trying to figure out how we're gonna get out of this thing. But I really enjoyed it, man. I got some great people I've met. And my journey out, you'll never hear me say anything about self-made or I got this out of the mud by myself. There's some great people down there in Bradenton, down there in Sarasota, man, that really helped me become who I am, man. Everybody played a role into helping me. I got some great friends who I'm still like this with to this day, man, like 25-year friendship. So it was a great area for me. It was everything I needed to get to where I was going.
Man, that's what's up, and that leads me to my next question. So once high school over and you make that move to UT Martin, man, how was that? Would it been a great school? I know not only just for football, but all around. I know a little bit about UT Martin. I heard about it a couple times. So
Okay.
how was that experience, and how did that prepare you for going to the league, man?
Oh man, great question, because it was a culture shock. So for me, coming from Florida, going to like kind of the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, in Martin, Tennessee, man, it was small school environment, small town, small college town. So I got there and I'm seeing cows everywhere. I'm seeing ranches, land, small town. So it was a culture shock. But Tennessee Martin was, I like to say, man, especially for guys who think they got to go to the Bamas and the FSUs, Tennessee Martin was my Alabama. It was my Florida State. Like it really helped me. It was everything I needed to get to where I was going, man. Like I got coaches I'm still in touch with. Got some I'm actually doing some collabs with, man. I'm helping the youth.
Yes,
And I
sir.
got guys I met who one of my best buddies, man. He actually pushed me into getting in front of the camera. He used to do like this little MTV Cribs and mini documentary, like, man, Jeremy Butler, tell him about yourself. My Dallon, man. So he used to push me on the camera at UTM. And then fast forward now, like me and my son got the podcast, and I'm loving like putting out, content, putting out information, sharing like stuff about my life. Like, so Tennessee Martin had everything I needed, man. Everything I needed.
Yes, sir. And that's amazing. I say, what inspired you and why is it important to the youth? Before you answer that, though, your podcast is amazing, man. It's the football, of course. Yeah, okay, I reached out, but it's really not it, man. I think it's more of like you a father, you God fearing, But like you got your son on a podcast, bro. You make him speak up about that's you don't know what that is. That's so impactful, bro. Especially with me growing up without a father, bro. That really hit me because I'm like, that's that's it. That is it. Man, why is that important, man? Why is the youth so important?
For that same reason you said, bro, like
Mhm.
I know what it's like to be in them shoes. I know what it's like to be up late night trying to figure out like, man, like what I'm supposed to do, or who am I, or why am I like this, or why, why pops ain't here. Like
Right.
I was growing up desperate for that, like that guidance and that mentorship and somebody to kind of pull me along.
Mhm.
And but for me, man, I was blessed because I had my uncle Bill, man. That was my brother, my best friend, and my father figure. So I had Uncle Bill that really got me right. And then I ended up me and my pops. That's who actually recommended my therapist. But my pops, me and him, we rekindled everything, man. It really did the work to grow and to build that relationship. But so he comes before me saying it. But growing up, man, it was beef. Like I was like, why my pops ain't here, man? I know what it feels like to not have that. So for me, I'm more than able to, give back and serve other kids outside of my family. So it's just the right thing to do. It just feels like the right thing to do because I know what it feels like to be in them shoes.
Definitely,
I was
definitely.
that kid before.
Definitely, man. That's how I am now. It's like if I can get some help. One of my boys, man, he coached down in Savannah, Georgia, and he hit me up. He was like, "Man, it's a kid that want to start a podcast. He kind of nervous. He's like, but I don't know what to tell him. So you talk to him." So I get on the phone with him. He kind of nervous. I said, "Look, man. First off, don't be nervous." I said, "Second off, go to YouTube and look at the podcast." I said, "Do that first, and then we gonna get on a phone call." So he went and did. He's like, "Bro, you interviewed, you did this, yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, you can do it too." So let me help you figure out how we gonna do this. And they don't know. I don't think young people know, but it make me feel better as a person than doing any of these interviews. That's the impact that I want to give out. It's not
Yeah.
more of like, oh, I interviewed Jeremy Butler. Yeah, he used to play for. Yeah, that's cool. That's great. That's how you paint the picture. But to finish it, that's what who are you gonna inspire, man? So with that, I say, what is your F factor then? Why do you do what you do?
Man, I do what I do because for one, I just always had a heart towards like serving. Like
Mhm,
always cared about people, always bothered me as a kid to see people with less than.
mhm.
Like I was the kid who gonna stand up for the bully. Like I'm the kid, like Forrest Gump, man. Like you can come sit next to me. Like
Uh,
I was always that kid. If I had it, I'll share it, man. Like I always was that person. So, and it was like my family, man. Like, we
mhm.
church folk in the South, man. You know the story. Like, grandma gonna have you in church every Sunday. So
Every Sunday and throughout the week.
with that spirit of like always looking out. My grandma, she got this saying, always look after people, always, be as nice as you can to people because you never know if that was an angel in disguise.
Mhm.
And I just took it to heed, man. And so for me, like I would say my impact and why I'm like so big on giving back is because it's the best thing I think I can offer back. Like for me to get to where I'm going in life, what's
Mhm.
the best thing I can do? Well, show somebody else how to get there and change their family lives. So that's why it's so important to me to give back. I love serving people. I love helping people figure it out, figure life out, and do the things they want to do in life.
Man, that's so amazing, man. And so tell me a little bit about making that step into the league and being an undrafted free agent. And I'm gonna say this before too. I gotta say this. I've been doing my research and I interviewed a few undrafted free agents, and they all done great things in the NFL like yourself. So tell me how, and tell young people that yeah, the draft is important, but like being that undrafted, how was that for you to be that?
To be honest, what I think, and I'm glad you said that, man, because what I think a lot of guys don't understand about going in undrafted,
Hmm.
you have to learn the business of it way faster than a draft pick would.
Hmm.
A draft pick, everything laid out, the contract that's already set, you the team that wanted you here, you
Hmm.
good. You good to go. Just go and play ball. When you undrafted, man, you got to do research. Like, okay, they want me to come play wide out. Okay, how many wide outs they got on the roster? Who they got? If they got a bunch of guys that done signed to big contracts, I can't go there. It don't make no sense for me to go there.
Right.
So you got to kind of understand the business of the sport way sooner. Me and my agent had to like really scope and see, okay, do they keep undrafted guys on that roster? Do they give fair chances to undrafted guys?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna make sense for us. And you got to negotiate. Okay, you say you want me to come in undrafted. How much are you willing to pay to show me you want me to come?
That's
So you
indeed.
got to talk them numbers and business real like way sooner than you would as a draft pick. So coming in undrafted taught me that about the league, but it also taught me I belong, man. Like that was cool for me. I didn't get drafted. That's cool. But
Mhm.
the fact that teams were still calling and wanting me to come in, it was enough for me to say, you know what, you belong here. Like that's what it meant to me. Like I'm still wanted. So I
Mhm.
took that and ran with it. That was all I needed.
That's what's up. And in that, I say, so what were some of your greatest moments in the league, man? Like the biggest things, like that. Dang, I really did that.
Um, a few, and then I'm gonna wrap it up with the biggest one for me, and it's not gonna be what nobody would expect.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I had a few moments, man. Like when I got to Baltimore, I got to meet Steve Smith. You know, he was coming in, so meeting Steve Smith and like, man, like, bro, this is somebody I used to have on the wall. Like, okay, and that's one thing I'm blessed, man, in that regard. Every receiver I had on my wall growing up, I got to meet.
Mm,
Quan Bowden, Steve Smith, Chad Johnson, Brandon Marshall, like all those guys,
mhm.
I got to meet them, you know, personally in the league. So like as I was meeting them, part of it was like, okay, these teammates or y'all business, y'all in the same business together. So I had to play that cool like that.
Mhm.
But on the other end, I'm like, the kid in me is like, man, bro, like you really here. Like these dudes is on your wall. And so that was a great moment. Being able just to perform, man, like to know like I'm on the biggest stage in the world of football, like, and I'm competing. I belong. I'm making plays against the best of the best. I put the work in to be here. So that was like everything. I used to brag to my boys about it. Like, we here now.
Yes,
So
sir.
that was dope. And then, but the biggest moment, man, for me was when I accepted, like, just, you know what? I'm ready for something else. Like, I'm ready to retire. And my reason for retiring, that's when, like, and it was really my son. I know it's a long-winded answer, but
Mhm.
I had just had my son, like, my senior year of college, going into my senior year. So I had a youngin, and then going in undrafted, I didn't have that security of like, okay, we know you're gonna be here next year.
Right.
I had to grit and grind every year, so I couldn't bring my family up, my kid up. So the toll it was taking on me going home and like having to like reboot my relationship with my son because he didn't know me for the past 5, 6 months in season,
Mhm.
that was taking a toll on me, and like that was more important to me than continuing my dream. So the most important part, like the most memorable part, is like having the strength to say, you know what, my son and fatherhood is more important than my dream, and making that step and like really committing, walking away on my own terms, not being forced out, my own terms.
Mhm.
That was the most memorable moment because like it's like a book. You
Yeah.
know, it's great while you're in it, but to finally close the last chapter and say, I did that,
Mhm.
that's what it meant for me. Like I really walked away from the league and like I really was an NFL player and finished my career. They can't take that from me, like ever.
Definitely not. I love that, man, because it's like I wrote a question like that, like the transition that you make. You hear so many guys, "Ah, I couldn't do this or this so and so," but like your transition is very different. And I feel like I never heard it. You said you put yourself on the line. You said, "Yeah, I played football. I'm glad I was blessed to do this. This is amazing, but I need to go be a father." Like and I feel like a lot of black men we can say that. And it could be the simplest thing. You might not even be in the league.
Yeah.
It can be the job. It can be this, or it can be I don't like the mom anymore. It can be a long laundry list of things. But like for you to do that, so how was that? Was it challenging stepping away and coming home, or was it peaceful?
Man,
Was it
listen,
both?
listen here. It was one of the most scariest things I ever did.
Uh-huh.
But I knew it was the right thing to do. It was scary because I've built my whole life developing these skills to like be my livelihood and like make a living for me and my family. Like this all I know.
Hmm.
So for me to leave that arena and jump back into like, okay, well, what's next? So what are you gonna do now? Like
Right.
I didn't know how to translate those skills into nothing else. And then with fatherhood, it's easy to kind of be like I guess a part-time dad where I was coming home in the off season.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm here, let's go out to eat, let's have some fun, and I'm gone again. But to be in the house every day and to deal with, you got to change Pampers now. You got okay, go to the grocery store. Like my little boy eating me out of a house and a home. So being there every day, it was a challenge. Like, and I grew up without a pop, so
Hmm.
I didn't have a rule book on fatherhood. So for me, it was like I didn't know if I was doing it right. I had to make mistakes. It was terrifying, man. It was terrifying, and it challenged every part of me, like every part of me, bro. Like but I just took it one day at a time, and that led to me really getting that relationship with God and
Hmm.
rest blossom. Like I just started figuring it out one step at a time, got my momentum, and I finally learned how to take the principles from sports that got me to the league
Hmm.
and use them in different things. And I jumped into entrepreneurship full time.
Got you. So in that, once you make that jump to be like a speaker and an advisor and all the great other things I seen while I was doing my research,
Yeah.
the biggest thing that get me is, man, like I said when we started, I like that you pull stuff out of young people that most people don't, and I think it's needed because you showed them, yeah, I was this athlete, but it's like, hey, let's congratulate yourself. I think you were saying congratulate yourself for what you won on this week or today. What did you
Yeah.
win in today? And I think that that's great to hear because imagine what I would have done if I could if I heard that as a young child. I was like, dang, to hear that, and I hear myself saying it. Shoot, I say it to my wife, say it to friends. But I'm like, dang, young people hear this if they get that in their mind now, or to speak up, or to hey, go ahead and talk about this topic real quick. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I like, how do you do this? So, how does it make you feel like once you're doing it, and like, why is that important?
um, it made me feel it's fulfilling, man. Like I can honestly say this, like 100% honestly. I didn't think I can find anything more fulfilling than catching touchdowns, bro. Like or being in like that locker room, like having like living out your dreams. I didn't think you can find nothing. I thought I had to like just settle for things. But seeing another life, like I just see it in their eyes when they glow.
Yeah.
When you take interest in them and you help them figure things out and they see it different, like you can, it's like that aha moment. I can almost see when the light bulb went off, just asking them different questions and like pouring into them.
Hmm.
That feeling and that like I get it in my kids, at home. So that's I'm spoiled in that regard. But to go
Right.
out and do it for other kids, man, that's been the most fulfilling thing I found outside of like family, which is pouring into other kids and seeing them like you got some of those kids, man. Like I almost got a little emotional one day in the mentoring sessions because I asked them, man, when was the last time somebody told y'all I love you and I'm proud of you or I believe in you? And I'm thinking they just gonna be like, man, last week or 2 days ago. Like you had kids in there that said, I don't remember or I've never heard that.
Oh man.
And it's tough, man, because it took me back to like as kids, like we don't be knowing, man, like what direction to go. There's
Hmm.
so many things influencing us. We just need that person to tell us, like, I believe in you, you special, you brilliant. It means the world, man. So like that, getting into that, man, the way it makes me feel, it's
Hmm.
almost selfish. Because it fulfills me, but I know it's benefiting them, and that's all some kids need to go and change the world, man. Like I don't know how far that's gonna go for them,
Hmm.
but I know it's at least a good start to wherever they're going in life.
You're right about that, brother. You're right about that. So, like, what advice would you give them? Not only to make it to the league or anything like that. What advice would you give them to go become a day person, go to the army or go to college? What advice would you give that young person?
The advice I would give, man, to any young person pursuing anything is do the things that give you the most leverage,
Hmm.
things you love. I believe and know that, everybody want to get that fairy tale, do what you love, do what you love. Yeah, but doing what I love sometimes don't really put me in position to do the things I love freely.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, and I say that to say because when I pursue football, it's the thing I love,
Hmm.
but me not knowing the business and developing like as a man and fatherhood and things around me, I had to go play catch up. So I would say, man, do any like pursue things that gives you the most leverage. So that's why I love entrepreneurship. I love serving people.
Hmm.
Business and being an entrepreneur allows me to leverage my like gift and serving people to serve a lot of people. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So like I would tell them like if you go into the army, man, you want to go create and invent things. You want to start a business. You want to even if you want to go work for a great company, like do that thing that's going to allow you to leverage the things you love in life. And then you'll be able to give your gifts to the world freely with no stress about, man, the bills got to be paid or
Mhm.
I gotta be with my son. Like always make time to do the things that you really, really love to do. That would be my advice.
I like that. What are some of your with that? Well, you've done so much great things thus far. I would
Thank
say,
you, man. Thank you.
what are some of your life goals or life achievements you still want to get to?
Uh it's I can think of two that I wanted to, wanted to touch on.
Mhm.
Because that's a question I know, man. Like I'm always thinking about, like, man, what are my life goals or what's next? And
Mhm.
because football is up here, you done
Right.
kind of.
It's like, hey, I did. Like, it's like I interviewed this person. I don't. Hey, it happened with me too. I did this work, and I'd be like, I got money now. We can. Hey,
Yeah, what's
let's do.
next? Like,
What's next? So
so it would be one, man. I know from just my relationship with God, man. Like the closer I get to God, it's like I get instructions from the HQ of like
the
how to go serve a purpose or what purpose I'm in this season.
mhm,
So that's the main thing. And the closer I get to God, man, like I keep being able to be used in different arenas. And like I thought I was just gonna be doing okay, I'm just helping athletes. But as it starts, before you know it, regular students, who non-athletes, they're inspired by it. Parents are reaching out, like they're inspired by it.
mhm.
Fathers are like, man, bro, like what you doing with your son? Like, I love it. And I'm just like, oh, this is bigger than sports. So okay. So that's how I'm learning that, man. God he puts me in different arenas to serve different purposes. So that's one. And two, man, one of the things I want to do is me and my lady, man, we starting a school. We're gonna start a school.
Okay.
And what I want to do is grow it up to having a full, K through 12 private school and a curriculum that, man, is the same way I run my program.
Uh-huh.
Everything I'm about, these kids getting developed from K through 12, man, of just how to develop the areas in life that's going to be important around the things you do. I want you to learn how to take care of yourself, how
Mhm.
to think. I want to teach you how about money, how finances work, how to go be successful, how to network, how to public speak, how to create media companies. I want to teach them important things. So if I like, it ain't even if when I get a fully functional school,
Yes.
bro, I'm gonna be pushing out disciples and little generals, man.
See,
Sit
look, I'm a phone call away. I'm like, look, man, my kid's coming. I'm coming. You need me to come?
them.
You
Sit
need me
'em.
to come? Man, I got a master's in adult education. I pull up to the
Come
kid.
on,
My
we
wife
need
is
it.
teacher, so we there. We
I love it. You see
there.
how that work? Yes, yes, sir. I love it.
Yes, indeed. So
Come on down, man.
before we do close, man, I say this. Do you have any questions for me?
I do, man. I do. I want to ask, man, because I appreciate you one for reaching out, but and I've seen, man, like you said, you got some great guests, man.
Mhm.
Like some very like perspective opening interviews. Man. So I want to ask, like, what's your big picture vision, man? Like where you plan to take this thing?
My big picture vision is I grew up watching Oprah, man. I just literally want a platform for people to see it. It ain't even about the money no more, man. At first, you're like, oh, it's about the money. And that's why I went to school to be an engineer. It's like, oh, it's about the money. But it's
Yeah,
like the impact I can give to people about just even hearing the conversation today. It inspires me every time I talk to somebody, and I pray to God, like, hey, at first when I started it back in 2019, I'm like, hey, I hope I can get this person. I hope I can, and it's like that small. But now it's like, dang, like I really interview people that I never thought I'd be interviewing, and I thought it was like at first, like, dang, I got an athlete, oh, it's lit. But now
yeah,
it's like, dang, I got a lawyer. Like my kids gonna be able to listen to this. Oh, I got an engineer to do this, and they black. I was like, okay, man, so that's why I want to get to just keep growing the network, man, the biggest thing, and be like Oprah, like a household name. Ain't even that type of platform. I'm good with doing this, but I feel like in doing this, I feel like it's gonna grow. So I hope to get there one day soon. So that's how I look at it. Definitely.
nah, that's dope, man. And the reason I ask is because like I'm big on, man, just trying to like if you anybody close to me know, like you ain't gonna be in my circle or be near me or talk to me too long without me kind of like, okay, man, what's your vision? Like what you like I want to know, like what's your gift? Like what's your big picture thing? I'm always nudging people to like, man, go big, bro, go
Mhm.
big. Because and the reason I said is because I like the question that hits home for me, and I want to kind of ask you, it's kind of the same thing, is if you can ask yourself, for me to make the biggest impact,
Mhm.
what would I have to do or what would I be doing? And like, do you feel like your podcast is that like that Oprah, that having that Oprah network? That's the way.
Definitely. Having the biggest impact would be this podcast, man, to be honest with you. Bro, like outside of job, outside of being whoever I am, bro. Like I had people calling me or like texting me or like, bro, you really doing this? Or that those kids reaching out, man, that means a lot. And at first it's like, dang, I thought it was gonna be like, oh, I did this. But it took me to interview a few people and know, like, dang, I'm okay, I'm good at this. Then it took me to interview a few more. You get that big person, like you said. I made it to football. I did it. Okay, cool. But it's like, what's next? So the next thing for me is just to keep inspiring and helping people out and keep building these networks so that I can show you through me that you can do it too. I feel like that's all a lot of people have to see, that not only can I do this, not only can I talk to a person that was in the league, I can also go and talk to the lawyer down the street because they on the same level, they're the same people. We just ain't looking at it like that. And I said every podcast ain't gonna do that. Every podcast not going, and then no not knock to them, but every podcast that ain't what they're there for, and that's cool. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here for everybody to have a platform to be able to speak on, be able to talk, and however that looks. I want to get to the point to where I'll be able to bring you down here and be like, all right, man, we on the podcast. Okay, cool. Not only just to grow my podcast, but for people to see, oh, dang, he really built a connection with them. Because you got to be about what you. Well, I wrote a book about the art of networking. How I'm
Yeah.
just gonna write about it and interview you one time, be like, oh yeah, I ain't gonna never talk to them again. I actually stay in touch with these people, man. No matter what level they on, I stay in touch with them the best I can. So having some platform like that, that's all I want is my people to be able to see that. Oh dang, oh he interviewed this person. Okay, cool, I can do that. Oh, he
Yeah.
went and interviewed the teacher. Oh wait, well, teacher, what? So it's like, hey, I want you to see that you can be this, but you also can do this too. So like, that's the options.
I love it, man, and you doing it, bro. Like, and you deserve your recognition and praise for it too, man. I'm giving your flowers to you as well because
Thank you.
what, like in our community, man, like our kids they don't hear it enough, but they brilliant,
Mhm.
they geniuses, they super creative, they energetic, everything they need to achieve all the goals they got for themselves. The kids in our communities can go be anything in the world.
Yes, sir.
They just don't see the examples, and like you're showing them that. Like
Mhm.
they don't see attorneys, they don't see athletes. They like all they see is what's on TV, which is athletes or rappers. They don't see attorneys, they don't see firemen, they don't see business owners, they don't see educators, they don't see engineers. Like once they start seeing that, oh, he look like me, he act like me, I can go do it. That's all they need. That's it. That's all they need is to see just a peek of like, oh, he talk like me. He's like, oh, he doing that, and he talk like me. I can go do it.
Yeah,
All
and
our
that's what
kids
it's
need
done
to
for me,
be doing
man.
that.
I literally visit Auburn, Tuskegee, then I went to Georgia Tech, and I'm like, I met 3 engineers that look like me, and they really was like, "Dang, y'all do this? Computer science, you do?" I went home like, "Mom, we gonna be a computer scientist." I don't know what that is, but hey, I had to do a book report on it, and I never forget. I got the scholarship. You get the things, and it made me. That was the first time I was like, "Oh, I ain't just got to play football. I can do this too." All right, cool. Let's see how we can do it. And look, now I'm a computer scientist. So yeah, man.
That work, man.
And now I'm a podcast. I ain't go to school for podcast, but now I'm a podcast.
And they need to see that because, man, I think I heard J. Cole say it, but then I want to say it comes from Tupac.
Hmm.
I may not change the world, but I can inspire the person who may go change the world.
Yes,
And I
indeed.
always think of like, it's like I joke and say it like the cure for cancer may be sitting inside one of these kids I inspire.
Yes.
The cure or the leader that's going to lead the next economic development center, or you need like something that's going to give back to the community,
Hmm.
may be in one of these classes, and he
Yes,
just
sir.
needs somebody to look him in the eye and say, I believe in you. You know what I mean? Like you just never know who or what people are going to become. So networking, man, it's so important.
Oh, boy.
And I got to get your book. I got to get that book, man, The Art of Networking. Got to get it.
Got you. I'm gonna have something good for you, man. When we link, man, I definitely got you, man. My biggest thing is thank you. I
Yeah,
look forward to working with you because I like how you doing your podcast with your son, man, and I
yeah,
like the outreach that you do. Whatever you need from me, I'm in that because I gotta be a part of it. That's how I feel now. I gotta
yeah.
be a part of it. So, any other athletes or any kind of working day people, man, that you see and you think they're fit to come onto the podcast, it can be anybody, man. Just let me know, man. I'll definitely be open to
I got
have them, man. It make it easier on me because I know you, Jeremy. So I'm like, okay, you hey, look, you know how our people we do great things. So I'm like, hey, if
you.
Jerry approved it, I'm good to go. Come on.
Yeah. What I'm gonna do, man, I'm gonna make a list. As soon as we get off, man, I'm gonna make a list of for one people. Man, I think that'd be a great interview. Like I got a great network of people who transition from the game,
Mhm.
stop playing the game at whether high school or whatever level, and transition to something successful. So I think those are great too because everybody not gonna make it to the league, and that's okay. But there's more business owners who own sports teams than there are athletes who own sports teams.
Yes.
So I've definitely got some guys for you, man. And any way we can stay in touch as far as collabing on stuff,
Mhm.
I'm gonna throw some ideas at you now, man, and see what we can collab on and see what we can create.
I'm with it, and I even thought about it while we was doing it. My wife has been trying to figure out new ways to just keep growing. I'm gonna send you this episode. It'll help both of us out. I'm gonna send you this episode now, and you can post snippets from it, man, before we drop the air, so it can build up that knowledge. But also, just the conversation we had, man. I see the chemistry. It just, I'm good.
That's hard to find, bro. And that's like, and it's just being genuine, bro. Like, so
Definitely.
it's a lot that we're gonna have an opportunity to collab on, man. I'm ready. Let me know any way I can be of value, bro. And
Mhm.
I'm definitely tap your brain, man. You're an engineer, man. Hey, I got some ideas for you.
Yeah.
Computer science,
Mhm.
man. You got to break that down for me a little bit. What computer science? What space that's in?
So computer science, think of it as the reason why I say engineering because I went to school for both. So got the science degree at Clark and then went on to Northeastern. Was trying to get my engineering. I was like, nope. Cool. Came back to Clark, finished. When I got to work, started working, you're an engineer, right? Computer
Yeah.
scientist is a person that not only works with the computer, but I work with different programs. So I was able to go in and write in different things in Java. So like programming different things that operated in cars. So like OnStar in the car, I help like do those type of developments for those cars. But
Oh,
also something as simple as pin the attachment sticker that goes on every car. So I worked for General Motors for 4 years. I was able to do that. I also worked for NASA. That was my first ever job. Worked for NASA, man, through my cousin, man, and his network. Did the work there, and I was able to schedule out the schedules for the astronauts. So there's a little bit of what computer scientists do. So we do a lot that makes us engineers, but on the other end of it, you also can be a business consultant. So I could talk to you about it all day. It's a lot of things that you can do. As
man, bro, you out here doing all the small things that make the big things work.
there you go. Hey, that's how you
Crazy.
explain it.
Yeah, that's insane.
uh, yep.
You sit on the phone talking about me going to the league, bro. You worked at NASA. Man, that's major, bro. So yeah, bro.
Oh, we on
we got to
there.
come on the podcast. Simple.
I got you. I'm on there. But
I gotta
yeah,
get you
man,
on there.
we gonna talk, brother. Thank you for the day, man. You
Brother.
inspired me, man. Definitely.
No, I appreciate it, man. My apologies, man, with all the hangups getting there, but I'm glad we made time for it today, bro. I
It's
appreciate it.
good, man.
And man, hey, listen, you got me in your corner, bro. I'm in your network moving forward.
Indeed, man. I'm gonna go and shoot you this and then drop a snippet.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, then, brother. Take it
Yes,
easy, man.
sir. You too, man. Enjoy your Sunday.